Hi, I'm David Dodge. Welcome to Green Energy Futures. Toronto Western Hospital is just commissioning the world's largest raw wastewater heating system. Yep, the hospital will be getting 90% of its heat from the sewer system beneath the streets of Toronto. If that sounds kind of crappy, consider they'll also save $700,000 a year in utility costs.
Hi, I'm Ed Rubenstein. I'm a Vice President of Business Development at Noventa Energy. We develop low-carbon heating and cooling systems using raw sewage as our energy source.
That's where Ed Rubenstein works now. But Ed cut his teeth on sustainability working for the University Health Network in Toronto on smaller measures such as recycling and swapping out lights for LEDs. Then, when he was looking at ways of sustainably heating the hospital, he met with his old colleague who happened to be the CEO of Noventa Energy.
Noventa has this technology, the Huber technology. They have this energy as a service offering. The hospital has a load, and we have decarbonization goals, energy efficiency goals. And we just started co-developing this project together.
Geothermal takes the steady heat of the earth and feeds it into heat pumps that very efficiently heat buildings. But there's no room for a big geothermal loop beneath the streets of Toronto. So Noventa said, let's get the heat from the sewer system.
The thing is, that sewer was quite deep below ground. So the wet well for Toronto Western Hospital, I think the sewer was around 100 feet down. So the wet well, remember when we have to go through gravity, went down about 130 feet so that it could, allow that gravity to transfer of the wastewater from the sewer to the wet well.
The so-called wet well is a 34-foot wide circular cylinder that goes 130 feet down right beside the sewer system. And then wastewater is diverted into the well using gravity, where the messy stuff is screened out and it's fed through Noventa's heat exchangers. For the hospital, the energy as a service model worked perfectly.
Noventa takes on all the financing, design, build, own, operate, finance, and maintain, and the hospital will just need to sign a power purchase agreement to purchase heating and cooling. So that model allowed the cost of the steam to hot water conversion to be embedded into Noventa's costs, and then the hospital will pay for that through the power purchase agreement. So at the end of the day, the hospital got renewed infrastructure, new hydronic system, new hot water coils and air handling units and things like that. And Noventa had a more efficient system because the heat pumps are only producing hot water as opposed to steam.
As part of this energy as a service arrangement, Noventa also modernized the heating systems in the hospital away from the high temperature systems that relied on fossil fuels for heat and switched them to a low temperature system.
Now there's a realization that lower temperatures, you can really diversify heat recapture from industry, wastewater, air source heat pumps. So Blatchford is a great example where they have an existing geofield. For expansion, a nice companion might be wastewater energy, and have those two systems working together. And I like to say it could be developed as sort of a black box. People, living in their houses know they're getting clean energy, and behind the scenes, there's a utility figuring out, are we getting it from geo or wastewater today? What's the most cost effective? What's the lowest carbon, etc.
And as it turns out, Blatchford, Edmonton's carbon neutral community, is planning to do just that in future phases. The City of Toronto is so jazzed about the idea of harvesting heat from the sewers, they put out a searchable online wastewater energy map.
Just type in the address of the location you're interested in, and you'll get a map, and you'll get a list of the nearest sewers where they've got monitoring data. This also really supports the City of Toronto's decarbonization goals. So the city has been quite proactive on this, building stock, especially a large, moderately aged city like Toronto, they're older buildings. Looking at different ways of decarbonization, this is a great resource.
Ed says there's nothing but potential for heat exchange systems that draw heat from the sewer system.
This is really an undertapped resource. I think, I've got some numbers. I think there's about 145 billion liters of wastewater flowing every day in North America. These numbers are largely U.S. based. There's a lot of energy there. I've seen some research to say that the market in North America for wastewater energy is probably approaching $20-25 billion
Ed Rubenstein was so happy with the way the project worked out for the hospital, he left his position with the health network and now works as Noventa's VP of Business Development. To see photos of this project and links to our other story on False Creek's sewer heating system, head to greenenergyfutures.ca. For Green Energy Futures, I'm David Dodge.